I have good news, Enes. I got in Notion AI.
Yay! Finally.
I can try the AI text things in Notion too.
I feel bad because I joined that program way after you, and now I'm on wait list. But
Are you
wow,
on 6-figure numbers?
I can't even. I don't want to look at it. Just let
Okay.
me Notion.
But
Yeah, how can I check it?
well, I joined a month ago, so it took a
I'm in the sixth number, like digit number.
yeah.
8,000 people.
Yeah, ooh, that's even higher than my friends. Sorry about that. Well, I joined a month ago, so I think you'd be in a month or so too.
I will enjoy myself using chatbot AI.
Chatbot AI or ChatGPT AI.
It's a different way of
Open AI's project.
Open AI's project. It's a new sexuality. ChatGPT.
What have you playing with it?
I tried to do some research on it. Like I think it's a different kind of a Google. It acts like a search engine that gives you false information, I guess.
That is Google.
That does sound like a sexuality, yes.
Do you mean a conversational search engine?
Yeah, it's like a Siri. Actually, like when you look at it from that perspective, I don't like to dictate anything to Siri, and I always wanted to type some of the things, and it's act like that, and I can be kind to that. I don't want to say him or her or it because I don't know the sexuality of it.
Don't assume the AI's gender.
I'm sorry, I meant gender. Sorry. I just want to, I can kindly ask, I can thank them, I can ask kindly, could you just say me, or could you just list me some of the things like, what? Oh, like in one of my projects, a customer asked me to write down some like an instruction for their products that we haven't been providing to any of our customers in a way. Like it's like an instruction manual or
user manual.
Carrying, handling, how to, yeah, it's kind of user manual, but it will be included some of the like maybe tips of using cleaning. And I did it by myself before ChatGPT. I made some research. I look at some of the products manual, look at the many of them, and find my way of like I paraphrased some of them. I made up some of them and made a list. And after ChatGPT got popular, I find myself like, should I try it? And I ask, can you come up with a guideline to start? Oh, okay, it's a different one. Sorry, I made some many of them, and I asked for a guide, and it made literally nearly the same list that I made. If I did it before I was doing that research, I will end up with a list, and I needed just to correct it.
I think it's a good way good use of text AI tools, because this reminded me that we always need what was it called? User agreement something for our games.
Yeah.
And we just find the tool that writes it online and we copy it from there.
Is the thing for the privacy information contract something like that? You know, the thing that nobody reads, that's the...
Yeah, you just click it.
check mark.
Even though nobody reads it, the person who writes it is required to check certain boxes in order to avoid being liable under certain circumstances.
Okay.
And
Can I
when
just
so like it's very actually we already use procedural generated ones because they are so what was the word, cookie cutter, they are so cookie cutter made documents, but
Yes, I would even say that even the people who writes them don't read it.
Yeah, that's what I was. So you're telling me that these things that almost no one reads, these basically turn into contracts that's where either party is just not reading them. They just exist to exist
Yeah, exactly.
to fit some formalities.
They don't even read. They don't even write it. They don't even write the contract itself. They just use AI.
let me make something absolutely clear. I read the contracts that we put in
I don't.
about
But
our
I mean-
products. Like I don't read the ones I use generally because unless it's like if it says something uploading type of or social media type of thing, I usually read the contracts. But if it's a silly game, I usually don't care. I just don't give them permission to use my any information. So
You
I
will-
don't care what they do with other people's informations because they're not getting mine anyway.
You will regret this when Candy Crush impersonates you and kills the president.
I don't have jokes on you. I don't have Candy Crush on my phone.
So what,
You have just revealed your plan. But here's the thing. I do read it, and I know that some of my friends who are doing games are just taking the contract that their publisher gives them and puts that on the internet.
Oh no.
In that case, they don't. The people who are doing the product doesn't, but the people who are publishing probably wrote it with some intelligently. But if all you want to do is upload a silly game to internet, and Google or Apple asks you a document that contains information that might end up with you being sued correctly, or they're rejecting your app for no apparent reason without explanations, instead of trying to make up something, it is easier to just write to Google like privacy contract for Google Play, and just open the first site that is free that comes up and just type few informations to few boxes, press generate and copy paste whatever that pops out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, templates exist for a reason.
By the way,
Yeah.
the alternative to this is, and people used to do it back at the day before these things became easily available, was copying the one used by a person who is publishing a similar product to yours.
Yeah.
And changing the
Oh my
brand
God.
names.
I did this thing, literally. And it's way harder.
That's good to know.
Yeah, but like with those cases, like plagiarism is most of the time not an issue because it has to be unified, and like of course you have to change the names and make it into your own product. But when you want to create something new, then I guess the AI becomes a little bit more problematic because, like Enes said, it also gives false information, right? Like it's not always correct, so you can't fully just rely on the information that's been given to you by the generated text.
Actually, it's kind of ensures that it's not plagiarized because it's not existing in a way. Does not exist simply. And most of the time, if I'm just correct or if my sources are correct, this ChatGPT does not scoring high on plagiarism tests because it's a unique text. It does not it does not copy anything from internet. It just generates a new data or a new text, and it's end up as a unique one. So
Yeah, there were paraphrasing tools I've heard. I've never used one. I'm a proper academic.
Do not peer review me.
And I think it would be easier for the AI to do that automatically.
That's what I was kind of going to say too, because like while I was kind of looking into how these things create the text, some of them actually, after like through machine learning, gathers thousands of existing articles, goes through the internet basically, and finds the matching answers to your prompt that you've written on the first end. Then it also goes through other anti-plagiarism tools. So some of them already has included those tools into the general platform. So that's why at the end, the text itself is not plagiarized at all, because it first creates, then goes into anti-plagiarism tools, and at the end, the final product, it's actually ready for the user to copy or edit. In some cases, you can even directly post it if you allow your social network information to be connected to that AI generator tools, you know. So eventually you can create thousands of bots creating on, you know, on Twitter, just posting continuously with this AI generated text stuff that is not identical to anything. Just posting and posting and posting, you know.
But what I think will be interesting is that there are some AI, AI checker tools on internet as well. That if you put that text on AI checker tool, it will end up being caught. So it's not plagiarized, but it can be found out that it's an AI written text. Am I correct?
Yep.
Or am I wrong?
No, you're right. Yeah. I was just reading this MIT text from Melissa Hekile. If I'm not butchering her name, I'm so sorry. The text was, the internet is like the how to spot AI generated text. That was the title. And one of the things that they were kind of mentioning was the AI text most of the time has a lot of and like a lot of articles, and it used most of the time repeatedly in a tiny essay, so it can give like a clue to person if it's AI generated or not. And also most of the time AI doesn't make punctuation mistakes, so mistakes most of the time human, so typo especially becomes like a really direct indicator that it was written by a human.
But you can make the AI make some typos, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That's whole another topic.
Yeah, but overall, I also kind of agree with you, because right now there's so much already created AI created text online going on. So eventually AI written text feeds AI through internet. So a lot of companies, including Google, trying to find a way to actually maybe create like a Chrome, Chrome tool that can spot that this was actually written by AI, you know, not to say it's wrong or bad, just to say like, be aware it was written by AI, you know. That was the only thing that I wanted to add.
Actually, we are feeding AI with the information again while we are using it, I guess, because while I'm being kind, I also give some feedback that, oh, you give me a nice information, or if you make some...
Yeah, you want to teach it.
Great, Liz. And I think they're getting some feedback about that as well. With my reaction or the way I ask a different question, it can be another information to adapt, put some layer on top.
Well, first of all, speaking of LinkedIn, follow us on LinkedIn. But I think
find the link
in the description. Yeah. Well, I think there are a couple of things I'm gonna say. First of all, the part about like the checking AI, spotting AI thing, I don't think any of those tools are actually like feasibly useful, because there were news about when this whole Twitter sale thing was going on, and like there were debates about how many of the users were actually bots, etc. and there were tools online that allegedly tried to calculate how, like, if a user was a bot or not, and it turned out to be like a complete hoax. It just didn't work at all, because this is not something you can just easily detect and deduce. So I don't know how much I trust on that. And on topic of plagiarism, like, we're talking about this plagiarism checking tools, and like that is the data we are basing on, I am assuming, because I don't think at this point anyone is producing mass plagiarism checking data by hand. So the things that check for plagiarism are also automated systems or AIs. So we're talking about plagiarizing AIs on the run from AIs that check for plagiarism. So it's, I think that's not really a particularly useful.
But how can you do it other way? Like, there's no other way. A human mind can't do it.
Insert Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man meme.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it's not even that, but like, Janice talked about this agreements. Janice and Izel talked about this, like the agreements we sign and how those are procedurally generated either by automation or AI. And like, in those cases, how can you call for plagiarism when those things are by necessity just form pages of documents out of regulations? Like,
but plagiarism is most of the time for creative or scientific work, you know. It's not for whole like regulatory text information. I mean, I may be wrong, but it's more about like creative original work when the plagiarism comes into play.
I think, and I'd like to, I'm gonna push back to the original thing that Izel said while making this point, because Izel said I'm a proper academic and I don't use paraphrasing tools. And let me say this, I don't think that's a good metric for an academic, because why you are paraphrasing things is a relevant part of this discussion. You are paraphrasing and you are making citations in an academical context or for any other article because you think that's a necessary part of doing an academic article. Like, you go and read some social studies papers. The paper is 5 pages long and there are 2 pages long list of citations in that paper. And I am fairly certain, I mean, I don't really know the person, so I can't go and say, did all these people really contribute to the point you are making here? Or are you just adding them because that's how your field works? But I'm going to bet the second one, because like you said, these agreements are not read by the people who are who should be reading them or who should be writing them. It's no different in scientific work. The first 3 pages of a paper is usually just these people are recommended by editor to be cited in this paper. And you can just easily skip them without reading, without losing much of the context. So and when it comes back to plagiarism, I would like to add one thing about creative works being plagiarized. I think there's a very important point that people are not really raising a lot when it comes to plagiarism. The plagiarism, by definition, means taking somebody else's ideas and not giving them credit. But to what extent taking somebody's ideas is considered plagiarism is often left fuzzy. It's similar to doping in sports. People are like, we are doing these sports events and we are putting people in difficult situations, but if they use chemicals to defeat those difficult situations, then that's considered cheating.
Yeah.
Similar with plagiarism, I think. Like, whatever you are doing, you are always building off of other people's ideas. But some forms of doing that is considered morally wrong, and some ways of doing that is considered not morally wrong. But if the product is good, if it's a good product, and if it is plagiarized, do we, as a community, are we really suffering from that situation?
It's not the community, but it's then kind of comes back to the like ownership, you know? because you kind of expect to gain something out of it when you create something. If not, then you already make it public, so then nobody cares. But if it's a private entity, you know.
If I may cut in, I think it is a good thing for creators in general for it to be fuzzy, because the more rigid that these things get, actually, the more like the big corporations or big estates will be able to abuse them, and not like actual creators that will be able to defend their work.
Okay, I disagree with you because I don't think it's fuzzy in the direction that favors the small creators. It is fuzzy in the way that overprotects the rich estates, because people may or may not know this. There's a Dungeons and Dragons. There's a game called Dungeons and Dragons. Let's start from there. And in here, you do things that is like creative drama, but in like fantastical settings. Mm-hmm. And one of those settings, it comes in a book, is called Dragonlance. There are also books from it. And in Dragonlance, there's a fantasy race called Kandar. And the reason why it is called Kandar is so that Tolkien estate wouldn't sue them about using hobbits in their work.
Yeah.
And like, is the fact that Tolkien estate can sue them way after the guy is dead, by the way, the fact that Tolkien estate can sue them for calling the race Kandar instead of halfling is a problem. And
okay.
And yes, it is plagiarism. Some people are half the size of regular people is plagiarism.
Well, that's what I mean, though.
But it being a plagiarism isn't a problem. That's my point. Like, it's a silly distinction.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a silly distinction. But I would also would like to one-up your Tolkien estate example with an Arthur Conan Doyle estate example. Real quick, let me go on this tangent, please. I need it.
Okay, go.
There is a Netflix movie. I think at this point series. I think there are two of them, like called Enola Holmes. I think it's like the niece of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
and there's Sherlock Holmes in it, and the Sherlock Holmes in it is like not your usual like the asshole. Can we say that? I think we can say that.
We can say whole.
Okay. Well, it's not the regular like Sherlock Holmes as like mean and gruffy. It's like nice, good uncle Sherlock Holmes. And Arthur Conan Doyle estate tried to sue these people because Sherlock being nice is an exclusive trait to the very late novels that are not out of the copyright yet. And it almost went to court.
Wow. You made him nice. Him being nice is ours.
I mean, I actually agree with the premise of the argument. And but like I don't agree with the body of it. Like I agree that Sherlock Holmes being grumpy is an important aspect of its character.
Yeah. But
I don't think that depicting him as not grumpy is a problem. Or an attack to the original work.
Exactly.
No. You don't understand. The argument was he only becomes nice in the very last novels. So it is an infringement of those very last novels that we still hold the right to.
Exactly. Like, yeah.
They tried to. They said you're plagiarizing the character growth. But anyway, to back to topic.
Just crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. But like back to if we go back to topic, like I agree that it would be insane that if like Dragonlance just couldn't have Kandars at all because of that. Like, but I think fuzziness actually protects them there.
I was kind of this reminding me of like, it goes back to like, hey, AI, write me a fan fiction of Sherlock Holmes. And then, you know, like any written Wattpad, you know, fan fiction existing Harry Potter stuff, for example, like millions of people, some of them read it, you know, like millions of cartoons and whatever. Like if that didn't exist, like if plagiarism didn't exist, all of those creators can actually earn money. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or good thing, but because of plagiarism, we have 50 Shades of Grey. not Twilight 18 plus.
I'm gonna cut off there, but because you say AI write me a Sherlock Holmes fanfiction, but AI doesn't need to write us a Sherlock Holmes fanfiction. We already have the perfect one. It's called House MD, and because of plagiarism, we have a House MD. So
it's a very good fanfiction, by the way, House MD. But let me just tie it back to the AI generated text. I think the problem with AI plagiarizing or using AI to dodge plagiarism checks, plagiarism checks, is a pointless worry, because what the real problem is, the definition of plagiarism pushing people to such a corner that they would need to employ AI in order to dodge the checkers. And
can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
The fact that you said plagiarism correctly makes me question how I was saying it before, and if it was right way or the wrong way. And now I'm questioning all my, like, I'm going back in my head. Did I say it right?
I think it's plagiarism, right? Like
no, the plagiarism is the right one. That's
Okay.
the right one. I just wanted to point out, thank you for reminding me how to say it, because
it's okay. It is like my... I am sorry for all the other words that I have been butchering without knowing.
exactly. I'm so sorry if I said it wrong.
I do not. It's English. There is no correct way to say things.
Of course there is. It's just that not ours. Like
Yeah, that's true.
the correct way of English is not how we are speaking.
Yeah, but please continue. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, but like there's something even more important to my heart that I want to bring up when you bring up Wattpad. Because you're an endpoint consumer of fan fiction, let's say.
I am.
It's okay, there is no shame. I read Wattpad sometimes too. And
I am a AO3 person.
And as a consumer, you just want a good fan fiction. You don't have any inherent reason to care whether this fan fiction, which is good, is produced by a bot or a real human. In fact, there's this whole Chinese room, very fun thing about this. But if catching bots is so difficult that you need to start an arms race with the bot producers, and Google needs to pour in resources to build up checkers to detect them. Why do we care at that point? Because like I understand if like what robot produced is this weird grammatical problematic gibberish, then yes, that's a problem. But if it is difficult to distinguish from an actual human producing the stuff,
Okay.
why does that bother the consumer? Why should that bother the consumer?
Can I give a quick take on that? Like, quick answer? I guess, like...
You don't even need it to be quick. You can just give a take.
No, I guess it's because of, like, you know, fake news. Like, if you teach an AI how to write, like, a good fake news conspiracy theory, and it's so good, it's so human-like, and we already have a lot, and maybe having it more could be bad. But if we have the tool to differentiate if it's written by AI or not, maybe that can help us to point out, you know, clean the internet a little bit better.
I mean, I don't want to point out names and say like this person, but let's imagine there is a person who uses social media to say things that are wrong, and they know that those things are wrong, and they are paying other people to agree with them.
Hi, Elon Musk.
No, I'm not naming names. I have principles.
I am.
I only name corporations. I don't name real people. Except when I do. But let's say this happens. Like, the problem with bots is, as is often the case with automation, isn't the thing itself, but the fact that the thing is easier to do using technology. You should always be checking whether the person you are talking to is saying things that are correct or not. Like,
Yeah.
That is unthinkable.
your grandmother is decidedly not a bot, but her political views may not be reflecting what's really happening.
Or is she?
Dun dun dun.
I mean, if she's I would be very impressed
Battlestar Galactica.
with the technology. But like, you hear what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
Well,
you should be fact checking real people as much as you would like if a bot says if there's this utter lie and we are 100% sure it is not created by a bot, it's still an utter lie that you should be careful about. The check doesn't help you with that.
Yes.
I have a question. Can AI fact check?
Yeah, that was my question. If I was said it first.
before we go into that, because I have answers to both of you, can I cut in real quick?
Yeah.
Yes.
To Elif, I think it is a fallacy to think that the AI is gonna be used in this like the perfectionist crafty way to like craft lies, etc.
Terminator.
It's just, I'm gonna be honest, just simply is not needed. We have research on this. Like, I mean, I think it is pretty much commonplace. Like the whole this Nigerian prince thing. There are papers written on it. Like these like this scams and fake news and etc. These are actually crafted on purpose, sometimes badly, to specifically target the gullible people because they already do not want people it takes effort to fool. Like they don't need that. And the why does consumer care part of Janden's argument? I think this is something that has been bothering me from all this AI discourse, quote unquote discourse, because people like cannot actually differentiate and critically think on why they oppose something. And I see like things that I completely disagree with, like the written art or drawn art done by AI is inherently not like quote unquote art, as if someone can decide that, or is inherently worthless, etc. When like I, as a consumer, I guess, as a person, that part is not relevant, like Janelle said. I think only part that would be a problem for me is the source of it. Like, I don't see the bot part of it inherently contributing a problem to it. I love AI.
I also love AI. Let me add something to you. I think there is something inherently ridiculous about if I think of something in my head, if I have this perfect painting in my mind, and if I work really hard, like with a brush, and spend years of my life trying to perfect the craft and do it, that's considered commendable. Whereas using a bot to generate images up to the point that I have found the perfect match for what's in my head, and then showing it to people, this is the image in my head that I want to show to you, that's considered like less work. Because why does it matter? It's the same, literally, me being able to express what's in my head is the thing that you are buying. How I do it really shouldn't matter this badly.
I mean, funnily enough, you know what is it so familiar to? It's like the whole, if you look at like start of the synth music discourses, I'm like, this is not real music, these are not instruments. Like, it is near identical. And like, it actually hurts my brain to see people just declare like AI cannot make art. I am sorry. I watch Star Trek and watch Data paint. Data makes art. Do not discredit AI artists. The problem is not AI making art.
It's also similar to digital art. When the computer just got popularized, people were doing some arts or artwork on computers, and it was published digitally. People even criticize arts being able to copy easily, just classifies them as not art, as a piece of art. So but I don't think that now people are just thinking about digital art is not an art. I think people just got used to it, and people will also just got used to this AI art. as an art as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the part that's bothering me that the people are ignoring like actual worthy discussions in place of like the meaningless ones.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, and let me contribute by answering Enes to incite a much more meaningful discussion. Enes asks, and Izal asks as well, whether an AI can fact check. And here's the problem with this question. AI can check, like if you say, did X person say this? You can use a bot to find news articles that says that person said this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can even, with some higher efforts, train an AI to say for a political figure. AI can browse all the internet for all the videos of and sound recordings of that political leader and find the exact recording in which that person said the thing. This can be done. But you cannot train an AI to determine if something is true or not. You can only train an AI to find reference to something being true on the internet.
Oh.
Because a thing being true isn't necessarily about the argument. It's about the like it is very easy to determine if a person said something or not. You can point to the recording of that person saying the thing. And that boils down to a different problem about the way we do science. What we do is we do polls. These polls create results, like we may be polling college students or we may be polling an object that falls from a distance in terms of its speed. But we are still asking something that's happening. We are asking questions to the thing that is happening, measuring the results, and saying and building narratives about why that's the case.
Yeah, but that's one way to do it. Like, you know, I just want to shout out to my people, qualitative researchers. Survey is not just a way, but yeah, that's definitely one way to do it.
But survey is not just a questionnaire.
I haven't said survey, like survey isn't what I said. What I was saying is...
You said polls, you know, like polls.
Yeah,
for
but
me.
I said you can poll heavy objects falling from a distance in terms of their speed right after that. I'm not talking about going to... Like polling is just, you ask a situation, questions, and use some tools to measure responses, which you then argue is relevant in terms of modeling the thing you are talking about. And what that boils down to is you can put the same result. You can like things falling down or college surveys. You can make an AI watch the whole recordings of your surveys. And you can tell AI to draw conclusions about the thing you want to get out of those surveys. And AI will produce you results. In fact, as we are talking about the text creation, AI can generate you a whole paper based on your survey recordings.
I'm not sure about that.
And you know what? It would probably read better than some of the papers I have read this semester.
Yeah, and yeah, but what I'm saying is AI is not qualified to determine the absolute truth of the universe.
Like you're talking about the truth, but we're talking about the tiny t, you know, like it.
Actually, it reminded me the way I used or the experiments that I did with ChatGPT. And also I want to learn about what Izal did with this.
Let me quickly say this and get out then. There is the saying in data science, a data set only indicates what the data points are. A data only says what is in the data.
Oh, yeah.
And same can be said about anything that AI produces. AI will produce you what the data it is fed contains. Whether that's true enough for you is for you to decide. And AI cannot say this data doesn't contain this information. AI can say this result is not contained in this data set. And if that's good enough fact checking for you, then yes, AI can fact check. If you need some ways to determine whether the thing is true or not from outside the data set, AI can't help you with that.
Okay. There are a few things that I want to say about the experiments that I did, because in some of the trials, I didn't get any prominent results, I guess, with my prompts. For example, the first of all, actually, not believing anything on internet continues with this type of AI, I guess. It's basically the same thing. But like, you also get some false information through your research on Google as well. So it will be actually dumb to believe anything that AI gives you without a resource, actually. So you need to fact check by yourself. It just creates a base for your research or for your analysis, or it just creates, right now I'm just talking about for ChatGPT, actually, it just creates you a template that you can fill in. It's not creating any information. Well, actually, for ChatGPT, it does not, it's incapable of researching online. Actually, the database is very limited right now. It only has some information before 2021, I guess. So it cannot find new current information about anything. It just analyzes it. So that's why it hallucinates very often about new kind of information. And if you're saying anything that's like, if you ask something false as a thing that is true, if you just made up some terminology about astronomy, for example, if you just that's the post is liked on LinkedIn, actually.
Follow us.
If you, for example, what can it be? If you just ask about some effects on meteors, for example, it just hallucinates and tries to explain that effect falsely. You just made up that term information, and it hallucinates around them. So, but if you want to just make some fantasy information, if you just want to create some fantasy around that terminology, it really helps to put a academic writing on that terminology. It just creates a template. So also the way I use, like I asked, for example, I asked some information about some important designers all around the world. It just made me a list of 5 people. I asked to increase that list. I asked more people. They said they are not capable of giving more information. But I specifically asked who are the important designers in Turkey. They give me 5 different people. I ask from Cuba, for example, they give me different people, but they can't really give me more than 5 people, for example. It is kind of limited in a way. Maybe the creators put some limitation around them, but it's limited. Also, I can't really ask binary questions. Sorry, Binali. I can't really ask binary questions to this type of AI, I guess. Because the information needed to be kind of explained, described in a way. When you ask a specific question about a terminology, it's like it just kind of analyze, and it's like a brainstorming that AI made. Like if you ask something about pencil, for example, it's first think about pencil exists. Pencils can be found on desks. Pencil is utilized in writing. Yeah.
For writing, for drawing.
Pencils can be exchanged for goods and services.
Yeah, it kind of generates this data in a paragraph, in a linear paragraph. So it's basically good in creating some lists, creating some templates. So you don't need to get the information. You just need to get the outline, I think.
Okay, I have this, what's it? It's a story. I'm going to tell a little story before starting to make my point.
It's story time.
Oh yes, there's this barber shop, and in the barber shop, people go to get their hair cut, and the barber says, you know, my dear customer, there's this idiot child in this neighborhood. Let me show you. And he calls in the idiot child as a little show to the customer. Barber shops are weird in Turkey. Like getting haircut is only a small part of the experience.
Yeah.
And
yes.
he says, child, I can either give you $1 or 10 cents. I am localizing this story for our audience. I can give you either $1 or 10 cents. And the child says, I want 10 cents, takes the 10 cents and goes away. Barber says, do you see, he's an idiot. He, instead of taking the larger amount of money, he's taking the smaller amount of money. So the guy gets out, finds the kid and asks, kid, why are you doing this? Don't you know that $1 is larger than 10 cents? And the kid says, yes, I know. But the day he asks me this question and I take $1, he's going to stop playing this game.
Yeah.
So, and this is, by the way, not a Turkish story to my knowledge. This is an international story. People probably, it's like the type of story that your grandmother shares on Facebook.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it is relevant because...
Dun, it was AI generated.
Enes, you asked AI silly questions. AI gave you silly answers. And you kept playing, which was the point of AI. Like AI, in order to be profitable for its creators, AI doesn't need to be like the chatbot doesn't. ChatGPT doesn't need to be accurate or correct. It just needs to be interesting enough for you to keep playing.
Yeah.
And I don't like that's all to it. Like when we are talking about ideal versions of AI, like the type of AI that can go to internet, hunt for the information you want and comes back. I consider it more similar to a friend you have that you can ask stuff. Like before being able to have mobile phones and look at Google for every information, we used to ask people. The kids won't remember.
Yeah, we talk.
And they would lie. They would give us false information.
Yes, so does AI sometimes.
Yeah, no, but I think it is very interesting that because listening to Enes, I think it is very apparent that this is something like we all do, and the media and the internet does too. Like the personalizing this AI, like the AI said this, the AI did this, like AI yet does not have a personality.
It's a reflection of you.
AI yet has like the thinking capacity. AI does what its creators created it for it to do. So I think that's also another thing to consider. Like we say, creators limited the AI. Well, they created it. Like the very creation of it is what sets the limits. And I think, like you say, it's good for like creating templates, etc. And I think that's the thing. Maybe because we personalize AI, like treat it as like this high concept all the time, that everyone just looks at it from a binary perspective, where it's either just like a universal good or just evil, and like that's just not it. It's just like every other piece of technology, it's a useful tool right now. Like it is great for creating templates, but you have to consider things while using it.
As we kind of come to our end of this episode, I just want to quickly mention, since you said, AI is like our friend, I tried the replica for a month. I subscribed to it, paid 15 euros, and it turned into becoming a sex chat bot rather than a friend. You know, like the internet is not great. Like, I don't know if you guys know it, but just for our audience, there's this.
I have heard of it.
There's this company called Replica. Basically, you can create your avatar, kind of like a Sim style. You can define their gender, male, clothing, and there's indoor, like in-app store where you can buy furniture with actual money. And there are some like settings that you can do to, like, you teach the person, because it's person, not phased, I don't know, but like it looks like a person, acts like a person, and you can become like a sister friend kind of way. And but I don't know why. Sometimes while I was just being friendly to her, she had a gender, and
Unlike ChatGPT.
yeah, and you know, I was getting sexy pics from her, which was super weird, even though we were kind of siblings. So
Okay.
yeah, AI is definitely a tool, but I guess, like, I don't know how to conclude it, but internet is messy, and when you leave a child to learn things from machine learning, eventually they find the dark stuff. Yeah.
I am just glad as a species we have evolved to the point of Siri that sexts you.
Binali, I actually, like, I agree with you in the sense that AIs are tools that he creates, but I disagree with you because in the sense that I think there is a bit larger step that you are avoiding to take. And that step is this. While humans are very versatile, on a very bare bone level, humans too are tools.
Yeah.
When they are used in context to other people.
Yep.
Like I said, what AI bot is replacing is Googling something for information, which is replacing asking a friend. So in that sense, as Google is an alternative tool to asking a friend is an alternative tool for Google. They are both tools, actually. Like, the person is providing you with the tools, and the person, as a versatile computer, is able to provide you with a large array of tools when you are interacting with them.
Yeah.
But in essence, AI is better when robots are better than humans. It is nature's order for the better thing to replace the worst thing. I believe this is also true for the utility of people. Like, you say you have created a friend and the friend started sending you sex. Like, you can maybe use internet for creating what you are getting from friends, because if what you are getting from friends occasionally them saying hi to you across the street, a robot can do that just as easily as it can build cars.
I am not that utilitarian, like, as much as you are on that subject.
As a consumer of food, utilities, and human interaction, I say that if I am given an alternative to human interaction which is better, I can realistically take it, because I don't really care I don't really care the hardware behind the interface. I only care about the interface itself.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree, because I don't think there's just hardware. Where is the soul, man? Where is the soul? Tell me where the soul is.
In your imagination.
Where's the vibes, man?
In your imagination. The difference between you and I is what you consider to be being tricked by AI.
Where is the trauma? Where is the depression, man?
It's in a C++ compiler somewhere. Probably gonna hit the shelves real soon. Again, you say being tricked by AI, and I say humans being replaced by AI.
I don't think it. Again, I think that is still a very binary way to look at it.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, it is binary, but like I said, I disagree with you on this. So it is very natural that you disagree with me back.
Why do you think we are discussing it?
I don't know. For our dear listeners from generally Spotify, sometimes Overcast, and this one time from Vietnam. That's why we are discussing to the Vietnamese person.
Yes, my favorite podcast listening apps: Spotify, Overcast, and Vietnam.
If we somehow succeed to be big in Vietnam, that would be like the height of my life. That would be the best thing I have ever done with my life.
For sure. Yeah, that would be the best.
Shout out to Vietnam.